Doc, you can proceed, sir. You have the floor now, sir.
So can you hear me, please?
Your network has issues, sir.
Eh?
Your network has issues. It's like when you speak, it's multiplying itself.
It's okay.
It's working now, sir.
But you can
You can continue now, sir.
It's okay. Thank you very much. So I will shine my screen. So good afternoon, everybody. Just as my colleague, the moderator has introduced, my name is Amit Dollar from Balaji, manager for West Orientation. I actually deals from Ghana, so I just thought that to make a very good correction of that. Now, looking at the topic given to me, enhancing learning through innovation, where pedagogy meets technology. Uh, Looking at that, is a very compact topic to discuss, and it implies that we need more time to be able to analyze through this topic. However, I will try as much as possible to make justice to it so that we can learn from it and also expand it in our own instances wherever we are. So, what we'll be discussing or the outline of this presentation is as seen on the screen. We'll give the definition of learning, innovation, pedagogy, and technology. We'll now dwell on learning curve, innovation, flow.
Sir, your sound is echoing, but I think it
Okay.
stopped just now. It stopped just now, and then the slide disappeared again. I think the echo has stopped now, but the slide is not showing again.
Okay. So I'm having problem with the mic of the laptop. That's the problem. So I have to on my phone. So Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
It's okay, it's better now. So I'm trying to switch to my phone. It seems my laptop is fumbling sort of. And can you also see my screen? Is my screen sharing?
No, sir, it's no more sharing, sir.
Please, I'm very sorry for this delay. So let me quickly, I'm trying to switch to my phone because it seems the mic of my laptop is doing some issue. Sorry, I'm transferring the file to my phone now in PDF so that I can share. So, Thanks for the question. Can you see my screen now?
Very well, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
we can see
Yeah,
your
Yes, we
screen.
can see the screen very well, sir.
thank you. Sorry for the delay. So, basically, like I said earlier on, this topic is a very compact topic, but we'll try as much as possible to break it down from various perspectives. If you look at this topic, there are four major strong terms that are very strong that needs strong attention as well. Talking about learning, talking about innovation, then talking about pedagogy and technology. So those are four major terms that are very deep with respect to enhancing learning. So let's now go through the outline has been displayed as seen on this screen now. You can see all the major terms that we're going to discuss. And we'll talk about learning curve, we'll talk about the innovation flow, the pedagogy fusion, then we'll talk about technology. Now, why we are dealing with this topic, it's important for us to understand the categories of learners that we have in this 21st century. In the 80s, in the 70s, in the 90s, and so on, basically, our medium of instruction is just through the textbook and the blackboard. But in this present era, sticking to those traditional means of delivering instruction might not in any way motivate our learners. So it's important we identify the changes that are taking place with respect to educational practice. The knowledge economy and digital society has been transformed beyond just sticking to the conventional means of teaching. So the knowledge economy has been digitized now, in which case we need to digitalize all our resources in order to provide or deliver digitized instruction to our learners. Then there is a lot of emerging technologies, or let's say there are existing and emerging technologies that are quickly fitting into educational practice. So in that instance, it's important we understand that the categories of learner we have in this 21st century cannot be conditioned to learn through the physical means of blackboard, textbook, and so on. It means technology must play a pivotal role in making sure learning takes place. Then artificial intelligence is almost everywhere now. Every field, every discipline is imbibing the functions of artificial intelligence. And in that instance, automation is also gaining pace along with artificial intelligence. So the next set of concern will be the high level of connectivity that exists with the rate at which we use technology for learning, for teaching, for management, and some other activities. So basically, connectivity, global connectivity is a major point that we also need to look at. Then, what are the characteristics of the learners in this 21st century compared to the previous learners? So the changing nature of the learners in terms of their characteristics, whereby almost all learners nowadays are mostly on the social media platform or any technological platform that provide them the opportunity to interact socially. It means we need to take learning to those platforms. And what are the demands in terms of the skill that a learner is expected to acquire in this present day. Trying to make learning theoretical in this present era might not bring out the expected outcome in terms of skill acquisition. So, invariably, we can say that technology is everywhere now, but learning is not everywhere. Because when you look at our learners nowadays, or we look at our the young generations nowadays, they are more versatile and competent in the use of technology. In that instance, they are mostly digital natives who, at any rate, feel convenient using technology, but only use it for social interactions, not for learning. So, having established that, this presentation is expected to answer some set of questions that serve as rationale for this presentation. What are the changing patterns of learning? Why is innovation becoming necessary? Why is technology increasingly integrated into learning? And why must pedagogy and technology work together? So when you look at the topic of discussion, the rider is where pedagogy meets technology. So I will not waste our time or bore us with going into the foundational definition of pedagogy, of technology, of innovation, and so on. Rather, I'll be giving the meaning or definition in relation to enhancing educational practice. So let's now start by understanding what learning is all about within the context of innovation, within the context of technology integration, and within the context of pedagogical approach. Learning is a lifelong process that is driven by curiosity, desire for improvement, and to solve problems, advance personal and societal development. Yes, we all know that education is the process of transmitting knowledge in order to bring about some level of relative changes in every human being that goes through it. Now, learning is an aspect of education. And it shows that for us to learn effectively, we must have something that drives us in wanting to learn, and that is curiosity. That is being enthusiastic about getting to know more about a particular concept, about whatsoever. So there should be that driving force that will propel us in wanting to quench our taste about understanding a particular concept. And it is that curiosity that will now lead us to the acquisition of knowledge. So it means that for us to acquire or to be a learned person, there is a need for us to acquire knowledge. And that knowledge will lead us to the constructivism school of thought in trying to construct our own meaning out of whatever knowledge we have acquired, bringing out our own self-dependence, decision-making power, and use that to solve a particular problem. So, by so doing, it shows us how to identify a problem, solve a problem, and advance in our reasoning, trying to be a better person. So in that instance, it means learning being a lifelong process, because learning is not just confined into the classroom environment. When you look at the definition of educational technology, I think 2008 definition, it looks at learning as an integral nature of a human person, not necessarily to be within the classroom. It could be in an organization, it could be within the family, it could be everywhere, so anywhere. So learning is central to human advancement. So this is what learning is to be to us, in terms of making sure that whatever knowledge you have acquired transform to an outcome. So invariably, I can tell you that learning is basically about outcome. Now, changing patterns of learning. Having identified what learning is all about, it's about quenching our curiosity, it's about quenching our taste, acquiring knowledge, and using that knowledge to solve a particular problem. What are the patterns with respect to learning in this 21st century? The first one is that some of us grew up to know about teacher-centered instructional delivery. But now it has changed from that teacher-centered to learner-centered learning. So it is no more about the behavioral school of thought, though it could be about the cognitive school of thought. But at the advancement is the constructivism and cognitionism, where learners decide what they want to learn and construct meaning out of what they have learned. Then the next one is memorization. That was the old way of learning, memorizing. Memorizing in this instance is obsolete and is already changing to critical thinking and problem solving. Then the next one is classroom-based or bound learning. In those days, learning can only take place within the four walls of the classroom. But in this present era, learning is ubiquitous. Learning can take place anywhere, at any time, at any forum. So learning has become ubiquitous. Then individual learning to collaborative learning. While the field of educational technology is developing, we talk more about individualized learning approach. And it's more of collaborative learning now than being individualized, where you can share your thoughts, you can exchange ideas, you can display your knowledge to others to vet or to critique you. So learning should be more of collaborative now rather than being an individual endeavor. Then the old way is we have a fixed curriculum. But learning is now becoming a personalized curriculum, whereby a single curriculum can be personalized to the needs of every learner that intends to go through that particular curriculum. Then the next one is just like I said earlier with respect to behavioral school of thought, knowledge consumption. Students just go to class in those days, consume the information given to them by their lecturers or by their teachers. But now, the new approach is knowledge creation. Students should be allowed, out of their constructive approach to knowledge, they should be allowed to create knowledge on their own and decide on what should be learned and how it should be learned. Then lifelong education to lifelong learning. Lifelong education is a formal way of learning whereby there are some adult programs that old people go to class. As an adult, you go to class to acquire certificate and so on. But now, learning being a subset of education is more tailored to lifelong approach now. And it's not compulsory I go to the 4 walls of the classroom before I can learn about baking or some other skills. So they are already there on the platform. Some of them are OER, some of them are ones that you have to pay before you can acquire the knowledge. So, and the last one is those in the past, human intelligence is the basic. But now we have human artificial intelligence partnership. So whatever we might have acquired as a knowledge, we can also brainstorm with AI technology to further concretize and clarify the knowledge we have acquired, such that we are not just relying on our own personal intelligence alone. We are also working hand in hand with artificial intelligence. And that is why in most cases I used to tell my students that AI is not your assistant. It is your companion. It is your companion because you will share thoughts with it, you analyze things with it, you discuss things with it, not your assistant because you don't allow AI to do all your write-ups for you. You have to give direction, to give pathway for the AI to be able to give you maximum output of what you need. And like I used to say, the responses from AI is as good as your level of intelligence. So that is why human AI intelligence is also a way to go in order to make learning to take place. And in fact, it is one of the most platform that is used today for students or some other individuals to be able to learn about certain thing or phenomenon. Now, let's move to the learning curve. When you look at this graph gives an impression of how learning starts slowly. It starts slowly because students at that level, learners at the beginning, will tend to struggle to learn about a particular concept. Then gradually, the learning grows and there will be some level of improvement as long as such students give the interest needed to be able to quench his curiosity and be able to acquire the knowledge. So by the time the students improve, then there is a rapid progress in that regard based on the definition of educational technology, which is facilitating learning, and the result of facilitating learning is improved performance. So once there is an improvement in performance, then it means the learning is rapidly growing. And at that level, by the time you get to the plateau, that is the tip or the top of the learning curve, it means you must have mastered all the concepts or the skill you intend to acquire. So that is how learning takes place. And learning is not, though there are some learning that is accidental, but learning is a deliberate plan to acquire knowledge that is useful for human endeavor in terms of solving a problem, to enhance critical thinking and advance his personality. Learning begins with curiosity, and appropriate pedagogy will support learners' progression. And also, technology accelerates learning and practice with continuous engagement in order to produce a competent individual that will be able to display certain skill or the other. So that is what this learning curve is all about. Now, the next is to go to innovation. Having established and lay a foundation for learning, what is innovation all about? Within the realm of the enhancing learning, well, innovation is novelty, is creativity, is doing something in a new way. And it is a way of applying new ideas to enhance learning. One of such new ideas is to integrate technology, approaching or adopting several methods that can assist in that regard. And basically, the innovation is to promote knowledge acquisition, is to promote knowledge creation, and to further enhance your personality as an individual and promote societal advancement. So that is innovation. And when you look at the innovation flow, it tells you that innovation don't just come by accident. It is a deliberate plan that should be well organized such that it will support the creativity and novelty of promoting critical thinking and learning in an individual. Idea is very key. And when you talk about idea now, that idea is the real innovation that you are bringing in. It is the creativity, it is the novelty that you are bringing in. And in trying to bring in innovation into learning, you must do some little research, if not very large research, to be able to identify and know how to particularly integrate the ideas in an innovative way. Then, basically, in that instance, your innovative approach will lead you to innovative teaching. And innovative teaching will imply that you need to introduce technology and some other methods that will support your instructional delivery within the classroom environment. And by so doing, you bring about high success rates in your students. And that is what it implies when you talk about innovation flow. And that innovation flow should, at every instance, improve and support the skill development of your student. It should take away frustration. Remember, while we are talking about learning curve, we said at the beginning, students struggle to learn. By bringing in innovation, it means you are going to simplify the learning system and expunge frustration completely, such that it will encourage skill acquisition and knowledge development. So that is what innovation flow tends to bring to us in this instance. Now, for you to successfully integrate innovation into learning, you must adequately identify your approach of innovation. Well, in this table that I'm displaying, I'm able to classify innovation based on what you intend to achieve in your learner and the context to which you intend to use that innovation. The first one is product innovation. In the instance of product innovation, you might be talking about issues of probably developing a software, developing a package, and introducing innovation approach to it, such that it's going to be a novel idea. Remember that your innovation starts with ideas. So you can develop an educational program. It could be a software, it could be a video instruction, and some other medium that can be adopted. The other one, another innovation is process innovation. Process innovation. And this talks much about the utilization of a particular technology in a way that is going to support learning. One of such innovation could be flipped classroom or project-based learning. Those are examples. And I'm sure we all know what flipped classroom is all about, where you flip activities between the classroom and the home. Then another one is business model innovation. As an educational technologist, we are also business person that needs to work or design or develop a particular platform in order to generate funds for our own self-sufficiency. And that takes us to the definition of learning, which is personal advancement. So a very good example of that is book. Massive open online courses. You can create a platform where you can have several courses that, yes, it could be open, but to a certain extent, you can make people to subscribe to it. You have very good example of that. You have the Coursera, there's Khan Academy. There are so many of them online that, so we can also do that. So you should look at the business model innovation as well as part of innovation that should support learning. The closely related one to business model innovation is marketing innovation. Marketing innovation. And that is very, very prominent or very popular among the present generation of social media users. You see people on Facebook to monetize their social media, TikTok, and so on. So as an educational technology, we can also tap into the marketing innovation such that we can design some lessons, micro lessons, very chunk one, very small one, in bits, and we can just post it on TikTok and so on. I know of one of my former students who is a PhD holder now that does this a lot on Facebook and on TikTok. And I want to believe she's cashing in, sort of. So you can serve as an influencer to somebody in adopting this model. Then the next one is technological innovation. Technological innovation. I'm sure you know there are several people that engage in virtual tutoring business nowadays, whereby they serve as tutors online. Or, in those days, I don't know whether it's still on Facebook, but I want to believe that they are still doing it, where you have homeless teachers. Instead of going to people's home, we are now integrating or delivering a service through virtual platform. So you can be an AI tutor. Then you can also work with all these technology, AI, virtual reality, and adaptive learning to be able to enhance learning of your students. Then the next one is disruptive innovation. Disruptive innovation. That is, you are offering some level of this disruptive innovation will go against the business model and marketing model, whereby you are providing platform for people to learn freely using the technology platform to be able to do that. There is no subscription, nothing. So you just give it out free of charge like that. Then you have incremental innovation. That is, in this instance, you provide some level of improvement in teaching on a platform whereby you provide updates regularly with respect to some platform. A very good example is the learning management platform. You can, you might have uploaded some materials there. You can still go back and update it and reshuffle it again and improve on what you already have there. Then you have continuous innovation. So this category means that innovation is not a one-stop thing. It is continuous. You have to continue to upgrade, improve, and support learning. And is a frequent thing with respect to curriculum update and some other activities that require the needs to update the content to align to the present needs of a situation. Like now, training our undergraduate students or university graduates to align to the industrial needs. So giving them the skill they need so that they will fit into that organization. So that is that about innovation as well. So it means learning and innovation are like Siamese twins that students need to engage in, or let me say instructors are to engage in to make sure that learners are enticed, are motivated to learn in order to improve their skill. So, and in that instance, for teachers to or lecturers to innovate learning, there is a need to adopt a particular methodology, a particular techniques, a particular approach, which lead us to pedagogy now. So as you all know, pedagogy is just the techniques of teaching, which encompasses various methods, approach, strategy and so on, such that you bring about learning or facilitate learning in the students. Pedagogy is a deliberate design and implementation of teaching and learning experiences. Underline learning experiences. It's key that every instructor must innovate learning through various experiences. This experience could be in form of excursion, it could be in form of practical, it could be in form of classroom instruction, and so on. But most importantly, pedagogy must give us the leeway to be able to design our learning experiences, the various activities that learners must go through in order to acquire a particular skill or knowledge. And technology also play a major role in this instance. So let's now talk about fusion, pedagogy fusion. The word pedagogy implies that you have to use several methods, techniques, approach, a strategy within the instructional framework. That means you are fusing together one method to a particular strategy, to a particular approach, to a particular technique, and you are making a whole out of it to serve as your pedagogical approach to cause learning to take place. So, looking at this, it means in between pedagogy and technology, there should be innovative learning experience. It's not enough for you to adopt a particular method of teaching or to adopt a particular technology without innovating them together. So the bridge between pedagogy and technology is innovation. Your innovation must be well supported in terms of making students to be active learners in the class. And they should be encouraged to collaborate, even though they would need to further construct their own meaning out of whatever exposure you might have given them. And these learning experiences can only be exposed through the use of technology. It could be digital tools, it could be AI, it could be collaboration, it could be virtual reality, and so on. So, pedagogy fusion simply tells us the integration of complementary teaching approaches, learning theories, and instructional strategy to facilitate meaningful, flexible, innovative learning experience. That is what pedagogy fusion is all about. I'm sure you know that the definition, the meaning of fusion is bringing together, adding two things together. So it implies that you are expected to integrate a particular teaching technology, instructional strategy, uh, teaching approach, then applying relevant learning theories together so that you can innovate learning. You can make learning to be novel. You can make learning to be very interesting to your learner. So it's important we note that there's no single teaching method or instructional strategy or a learning theory that will solve or drive the process of learning within the classroom. You have to fuse like 2, 3 of them together in order to allow learning to take place. Now, learning has, or let me say, educational objectives have 3 domains that we all are familiar with: cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor domain. The learning domain determines the pedagogy you are going to use or employ to be able to innovate learning. And I have a table for the 3 domains of learning, considering each of the levels under each of these domains. And the table is there for us to look at so that we don't waste our story. I just have like an hour or thereabout. And this is 4 minutes after 4. So, but I'm sure this material will be sent to us, will be made available to us so that we can also have access to it. So the 6 levels are there, and you can see the learning goal for each of the levels, and you have the expected learning outcome. Then, what are the appropriate pedagogy that should be adopted? And what should you do to innovate learning, adopting any of those pedagogy at each of the levels of the cognitive domain? And the same thing goes for the affective domain. I have it there listed. Then the expected learning outcome is there. Everything is there for the affective. Also have it for the psychomotor domain. So it tells you that generally to adopt pedagogy, the type of learning you want to facilitate in your learner will guide your decision. And at what level of that choice learning domain do you want your students to acquire the knowledge so that you can easily innovate the learning activity and synchronize it for their own benefits? Now, going to the elephant in the house. You see that from the beginning of this presentation, we've talked about learning, we have talked about pedagogy. We could not take away technology from all of them. So it implies technology is central, even from the field, educational technology. Technology is the core of our responsibility as an educational technology. Only that we are more particular about technology that deals with education, that helps us to facilitate learning in the students. So, as you all know, technology is a powerful tool, and we can't do away with technology when it comes to learning. So, without wasting time, we need to talk about technology infusion. Yeah, we have been talking about technology integration. Technology integration is a broad term. In the level of technology integration model, infusion is one of the levels in level of technology integration. So meaning that technology infusion is a subset of technology integration. So when you infuse technology, you are already innovating in that instance. When you infuse technology, innovation is already in it. So technology infusion is a continuous and meaningful embedding of digital tools, technological resources, and intelligence systems into learning experience. You can see we are more particular about learning experience. That means what are the activities that students and the teachers need to engage in while infusing technology. For you to infuse technology, it implies that you are trying to promote immersive experience. Immersive experience means making students feel the experience as if it is a real activity. And you will definitely need to enhance and promote collaborative learning in that regard. So all of this tells you that technology infusion is key to the technological approach that you are going to adopt to make a decision on your pedagogy. Now, I was able to construct, I won't call it a model yet, but a synergy among the three major terms: pedagogy, technology, and learning. Is a means of showing us where technology and pedagogy meets to be able to innovate learning. So when you infuse technology and you are able to fuse pedagogy, it definitely brings about innovative learning. And to wrap up this presentation, the pedagogy technology learning construct has some major indicators and the expected outcome. For pedagogy, the expected indicator is that such learning must be learner-centered and it should promote collaboration. And also, it should also make our learner to be active in the class and making them to construct their own meaning. At the long run, the pedagogy that you must select or the pedagogy of choice must encourage student engagement and participation. Then the next one is technology. The indicator is that the technology should be accessible and digital literacy of the students, or let me say technology that you are going to employ, must align to the level of digital literacy of the learners. And they should be able to communicate and personalize content with it. Thereby, we are promoting knowledge creation. So the outcome will be that it should, whatever technology you pick, must be that technology that enabled and promotes learning. Then learning itself must be that learning in terms of the domain that we have looked at the other time, must be that learning that will support skill acquisition, that will support knowledge construction, that will assist learners to be able to solve problems. So the outcome is that it should build competence. It should develop competence and confidence in the learner. So by conclusion, when pedagogy promotes active learning, technology should facilitate meaningful engagement. and learning should produce measurable competence. Therefore, innovation becomes the natural outcome. So if technology can promote active participation of learners, active participation of students, then is going to encourage meaningful engagement in terms of the technology. And that will now promote also a high level of measurable competence in your learner. Well, just as a takeaway from this presentation is to recommend that where pedagogy meets learning implies that you must adopt a learner-centered pedagogy. And you must also infuse or integrate technology into everyday learning activity. And the pedagogy fusion and technology infusion must encourage or develop competencies in your learner. And at the long run, innovative learning is promoted by pedagogy fusion and technology infusion. These two brings about high level of competence in learners, self-development, critical thinking, and problem-solving skill in learners. Thank you for listening to me. And I'm sorry for the technical glitch that eroded this presentation. I'm sorry for using beyond the time given to me. Thank you very much. So I'm done with the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So
Please, sir.
I think the moderator is
Can
still there.
we?
If there's any question or
Yes, sir.
clarification.
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for the presentation, sir. There are two things I want to quickly just I want you to help us with. You know, in this time of really synthesizing all these ideas, pedagogy with technology, there's one I would like to really look into, sir, is that destructive innovation. The question I would still want to ask, sir, is that how do we really solve situations whereby one discovers something that's really can be described as destructive innovation, destructive innovation in teaching, and you are trying to bring it on board, and you're having colleagues, even not your seniors, but you're having colleagues now have to, can you see me, sir, having colleagues to even question that. So, because to adopt that change, they keep on arguing. How can you resolve such matters, sir?
It's okay. Thank you very much for the question. Well, you know, the word destructive, mostly people see it as being a negative thought. But in this instance, destructive innovation is a positive thought. it implies you are trying to do things in a way that is not familiar, that people are not familiar with at all. And they will see it in such a way that you people, you guys bringing in a destructive idea is that you want to make students to be very lazy, you want students to be this. Let me give you a very good example. In my university here, when I was appointed the e-content developer, development and resources, I was asked to design a template for courseware, whereby all lecture notes should be transformed into an electronic copy. And the university have been trying that for almost 5-6 years before I came on board. So when I came on board and I was able to design the templates, most professors kicked against it. They said, no, why should I put my material on net? One, their material is not safe if they put it on net. Two, students will be lazy not coming to class if their material is on net. So to that instance, I see it that encouraging them to bring out their material and put it on net is a destructive innovation, because it's not, you are disrupting the norm. So when you are disrupting the norm, you have to plan and make decisions about how to identify the enablers, people that will support your idea. Before you implement at all, you need to identify people that you can buy into that disruptive idea. When you are doing something that people are not familiar with, they are bound to question you, they are bound to reject it. So, but in you, that you know the essence of what you are doing as being a destructive innovation, you must identify who are those people within your system that you can easily convince and make it clearer to them that disruptive innovation you are bringing in. Because if you are a lone ranger, it will be very difficult for you to achieve it. So it means you need to identify people that can work with you, and they will serve like an ambassador. So your colleague that might want to go against or disabuse the mind of people from supporting that your disruptive innovation, you have to sit them down. And mind you, because we are talking about technology literacy will play a major role in this instance. So people that will be an enabler for that your disruptive idea will be people of maybe medium size or moderate technology literacy level that you can easily bring in up to speed to be able to key into that idea. Because you cannot, as an individual, you cannot drive that process alone. You have to work with same minded individuals who will buy in and support and understand what you are doing. So for those of your colleagues that are going against the disruptive innovation you are bringing up, you need to identify among them people with moderate level of technology literacy and bring them up to speed, to not at par with you, because that would be too heavy on you, but at least bring them to the level that they can easily construct their own meaning out of that disruptive innovation you are bringing up. And in that way, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, I'm sure your disruptive innovation will scale through in that instance. Thank you. I hope I'm able to answer your question clearly.
Yes, sir. Very well, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
It's okay. Any other question or clarification?
I think SL Shetima, you can go on,
Yes,
sir.
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, thank you very much for a very wonderful and very simple and easy to understand lesson. Sir, my questions has to do with primary school. Is this particular lesson feasible in primary school? And if it is, from what class can we fuse in this particular innovative teaching? Because I'm thinking, since innovation involves a lot of innovation, I'm thinking it looks more of secondary school and all of that, sir. And secondly, sir, I had problem with my own staff. How do I bring in my staff who are quite on the old side on board the innovations? Because actually I have staffs who are been signed for like over 25 years, 30 years, and all of that. So it's actually not easy bringing them on board to understand how to work with technology. So my two questions, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
It's okay. Thank you very much. Now, the first question. Technology can be infused at any level, even at the kindergarten level. When I was explaining technology infusion, I talked about a model of technology integration, level of technology integration, LOTI, L capital letter, O small letter, T capital letter, I small letter. Is a model. So irrespective of the level you want to infuse your technology, the technological literacy of the students, of the learner, of the pupils has a role to play to decide what kind of technology you have to infuse. You know, when you go to kindergarten now, you see some baby tab where students can easily be playing with it. It's just tab. It's not a normal screen touch tab, but it has a building like a, what do you call it? Like a plastic. And they start it, and it will have its own keyboard, and they can press it. When they press it, they listen to sound or music. So there is no level that you cannot infuse technology. Even a baby of 5-6 months old, you can infuse technology. So technology pervade all levels of human growth development. It's not just secondary school or university. So you can use it at any level. The only thing you need to take note of is which pedagogy can you fuse with the technology infusion, considering the age, the maturity, and the characteristics of your learner. That answered that. Now, the second question with respect to having some well-experienced teachers who have been teaching for over 25 years, 20 years, how do you entice them to migrate from technological novice to a technological immigrant? Well, I will prescribe two things. One, training is the first thing. And the training can take several forms. The training might not necessarily be that gathering them in a class and you start training them. You have a laptop in your office.
Yes, I do, sir.
Use your laptop to just record score by opening the Excel platform for them. And you will show them. So it's a small thing. You will have opened the Excel for them. So please, when you want to press 40, you can see 4 here, you can see 0 here, press it. Then to move to the next cell, this down arrow, just press it. It's a gradual thing. There is this course I take my PhD student, change model and technology. Change, people don't want to change easily. And in doing that, you have to also introduce some motivation or some reinforcement. Let me use reinforcement, is the appropriate word.